welcome back to our channel.
It's been a fat minute.
Or welcome if you're new.
Look down below, hit that subscribe button.
Leave a thumbs up.
I'm Mackenzie. I'm Bella.
I'm London.
I'm Chisum.
Somebody once told me the world is gonna roll me. I ain't the sharpest tool in the shed. She was looking kind of dumb with her finger and her thumb in the shape of an L on her forehead. Well, the years start.
For the beginning of this video, I thought I'd first start off by talking about the Me Too movement, how it started and how it received its publicity from social media. To help create this video, I have received valid information from the Me Too movement's official website. So, the Me Too movement was founded in 2006 to help survivors of sexual violence, not only black women and girls, but also for the young women of color from low-wealth communities. And through this, they hope to find pathways to healing. The vision is to address both the dearth in resources for survivors of sexual violence and to build a community of advocates driven by survivors who would be at the forefront of creating solutions to interrupt sexual violence in their communities. Now, with that being said, in less than 6 months, the viral MeToo hashtag has become a vital conversation about sexual violence and has been thrust into the national dialogue. What started as local grassroots work has expanded to reach a global community of survivors from all walks of life and help to destigmatize the act of surviving by highlighting the breadth and impact of sexual violence worldwide. With me today, I also have a special guest, celebrity Jenna Elfman, to talk a little bit more about her support for the movement.
Thank y'all for having me. I'm so excited to share my experience. I've been with my lovely Bodie Elfman for almost 27 years. In my time with him, I've learned a lot about men, and I have learned a lot about myself. Bodie is my best, Bodie is my best friend, and I'm very fortunate to have him, a man who loves and honors me. Gosh, sorry, I'm tearing up. Respects me, and always supports me in my endeavors. His actions have made me a stronger woman. And I want to say that I too, in my past, have had experience of a couple men physically forcing themselves upon me in an unforgivable manner, and I too had continued to stay loyal to them for a period of time, falsely thinking that I somehow didn't have a right to say no. I just want to say that there are great men and women in this world, and it takes both sides setting a stellar example of common human decency and respect to change this issue. The wonderful men of this world need to also express themselves and be the ones to say no to the behavior when they witness it in their fellows, and continue to set an even bigger and better example of what it means to be gentlemen. I love you, Bodie. Thank you for making me a better woman. I support the Me Too movement because it makes a bigger impact on someone's life that we can never expect. Sorry.
That's so awesome to hear. Thank you again, Jenna, for doing a collab with us. For the next part of our video, we'll be sliding over to Mackenzie's part, where she'll be talking about police brutality and racism through Twitter awareness.
Guys, so glad to be back again. So this week I wanted to talk a little more about how Twitter awareness is impacting our society when it comes to police brutality and racism. To make sure I share the right information with y'all, I have gathered information from theroot.com, and the link will be in the description below. Twitter awareness has been expanding due to the fact of everything that has been going on in today's society. Many Twitter accounts have been made to help spread awareness of racism and police brutality. In these accounts, they talk about recent events that have happened due to racism, or they even share the story of the kids who have lost their life due to the police brutality. Many posts have gone viral, with more people speaking out for awareness. Now, to demonstrate a little further, I will be inserting some videos from Twitter. These next few scenes do contain violent content, so if it makes you uncomfortable, please skip ahead.
Georgia police officers fired after video surfaced on social media showing them punching and kicking a man in the head who was handcuffed on the ground. But tonight, one attorney claiming that video may be misleading. Here's ABC's Adrian Bankert.
Tonight, hit and kicked in the face by police. The man assaulted on video, now calling for those officers to be charged as criminals.
Punched, tased, kicked in the head, and incarcerated for no reason. I am a law-abiding citizen whose rights were repeatedly violated.
Demetrius Hollins was pulled over outside of Atlanta, the situation escalating quickly. Watch as one witness captures video of Sergeant Michael Bongiovanni hitting Hollins. Already on the ground and handcuffed, another person records Officer Robert McDonald's stomp on the 21-year-old's face.
Make no mistake, what they did was a crime.
Bongiovanni's lawyer saying this video is misleading. Rather than a punch, it shows a shoulder strike and is in line with police protocol to get Hollins to comply for a search for weapons. Both officers are fired within 24 hours. The district attorney now deciding if they will face charges.
There's literally no excuse for behavior like this.
Bongiovanni's attorney telling us he believes the sergeant acted in line with his training and that he stands by his 19 years of service. We were not able to reach Officer McDonald for comment.
These videos have brought awareness to society that demonstrates that there needs to be a change if we no longer want to continue on the cycle that's been occurring.
Now, the next thing I'd like to discuss is the Women's March. The valid information I've gathered is from history.com, and the link will be in the description below. The Women's March is a woman-led movement providing intersectional education on a diverse range of issues and creating entry points for new grassroots and activists and organizers to engage in their local communities through trainings, outreach programs, and events. The women's goals are to show that women's rights are human rights as well. Women's marches have been around for ages and will continue to be around as women fight for their rights. One of the most recent marches being in 2017 on the first full day of Donald Trump's presidency. Now to my left, I have a few women taking a part of this march. You know what? I'm gonna go talk to them and see what's up. Ow. You got me tripping, stumbling, ow.
Can I talk to you real fast?
Yeah.
Why don't you have a seat? Okay. They are so dedicated.
So why are you marching today?
I'm marching today because I want to spread awareness about how women need to be respected with the same dignity as men are. We deserve a change, and while we wait until equality is served, and we will not stop.
That was deep.
Thank you.
Hey guys, thanks for checking in with me today. So today I wanted to give you a little insight on DACA. While doing my research, I found the validity.com website to be most reliable. The link will also be in the description below, so check it out. Okay, so
they ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get into it because they would never understand.
We're talking about, so millions of kids all over the world are being punished and being deported for the immigration of their parents. Though for now they were given their rights, but they are slowly being taken away from them due to something that was not their choice. This also does with much discrimination, not only to do with citizenship, but also in the justice system. Many of these people who are here in the United States are being cited on criminal offenses to keep them out or remove them without giving them a fair trial. There are approximately 11 million undocumented immigrants in America right now, and about 619,000 who are black, and approximately 2 million who are oftentimes referred to as dreamers, who, like 21 Savage, came to the United States as children and considered our nation their home, our nation their home, and are now being taken away.
I've been smoking gas and I ain't got no. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 M's in my bank account. Yeah, 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 in my bank account. I got 1.
Speaking of 21 Savage, there are people that have started a petition not only for him, but for those who are also experiencing the same situation. Those people are the members of the Black Lives Matter movement,
who are uniting African Americans to fight for their rights against discrimination and their civil liberties, which are somewhat slowly being taken away from them. To learn more about the Black Lives Matter movement, go to thebblacklivesmatter.com in the description below. This is where I got my information. The movement began with many communities as well as the people were being targeted and persecuted, not only in their justice but in their way of life. This movement has accomplished so much as they continue to fight. Organizers who call this network home have ousted anti-black petitions who won critical legislation to benefit black lives and change the terms of the debate on blackness around the world.
Thanks for joining me today. So on this part of the video, I'll be discussing the Ferguson's riots and how they began and how they continue to make a significant impact on the society. I have utilized the blackpost.org to gather my information, and the link will be below in the description. Anyways, these incidents involved protests around the riots and began the day after the fatal shooting of Michael Brown by the police officer Dorn Wilson on August 9, 2014 in Ferguson, Missouri. Some accounts report that Brown made no threatening movements toward the officer, while others states that Brown charged at Wilson and attempted to take Wilson's firearm. The police claimed that Brown was a suspect in a nearby store robbery and that the items had been spotted in his possession, prompting their actions. Some witnesses said that Brown put his hands up, and others say that he ran for his life. And conflicting accounts were the subject of much controversy. In the following days, several peaceful protests occurred. In addition to the incidents of looting and violent unrest, an imposition of violence, a curfew was established in the area and riot squads were deployed. Multiple protests occurred with escalating levels of violence and police response. Tear gas was used in a combination with rubber bullets, smoke bombs, and flash grenades to disperse crowds to protesters. Several media reporters on the scene at that time were similarly tear gassed, and there are some reports of attempts by the police to take down their cameras and suppress coverage. These riots occurred to raise awareness to the cruel injustice African Americans were experiencing. These people merely wanted to bring justice to the accumulation that continue to affect the lives of black people daily.
So I'm back once again, and this time I'll be discussing the correlation between the criminal justice system and the intolerance regarding African Americans. For my source, I have utilized the WashingtonPost.com website, and the link will be in the description below. So racial disparities in the criminal justice system are no accident, but rather are rooted in a history of oppression and discriminatory decision-making that have deliberately targeted black people and helped create an inaccurate picture of crime that deceptively links them with criminality. It means that we have systems and institutions that produce racially disparate outcomes regardless of the intentions of the people who work with them. When you consider that much of the criminal justice system was built, owned, and firmly established during the Jim Crow era, an era almost everyone, conservatives included, will concede rife with racism. This is pretty intuitive. The modern criminal justice system helped preserve racial order. It kept black people in their place. For much of the early 20th century and some parts of the country, that was its primary function. That it might retain some of those proclivities today shouldn't be all that surprising.
Part of our video, I'll be discussing the anti-bullying movement and how it continues to make a significant impact on our society. I've gathered my information from the changemakers.com, and for the last time, the link will be in the description below. Across the United States and around the world, the anti-bullying movement has become a rallying force, from celebrity telling gays, teens that it gets better, to the worldwide attention paid to a bullying incident in Australia captured on video. The problem of bullying in schools has gathered heightened media attention and is being tackled with increasingly strong laws by communities. Studies have shown that bullying leads to increased incidence of mental health issues later in life and lower achievement levels, especially for minority students. In fact, according to a Harvard Medical School study, verbal abuse is even without physical abuse, acts like a neurotoxin, having serious effects on the brain development. Most markedly in students in their middle school years, the increasing number of students have committed suicide following repeated harassment from peers and tragic reminders of the urgency of keeping schools safe, and it is particularly difficult challenges now that students' lives no longer stops when the bell rings. With society and media and the internet, the potential of bullying to become a brutal and devastating from the harassment is bigger. Students from elementary schools to college have hosted rallies protesting bullies with a day of silence and stood together in solidarity to demand safe school environments. We work to create an environment of safety in schools and teach students the social skills to interact in ways that allow infantry to thrive. We may be able to stop bullying while simultaneously helping students grow into the world's future leaders.
So Mackenzie had to go and be a baller, but thanks for watching our video today.
Hope y'all learn more about modern movements.
Don't forget to like and subscribe down below. Airheads out. Start over. Got it.
So no one told you life was gonna be this way. Your job's a joke, you broke, your love life's DOA. It's like you're always stuck in second gear. But when it hasn't been your day, your week, your month, or even your year. But I'll be there for you when the rain starts to pour. I'll be there for you like I've been there before. I'll be there for you 'cause you're there for me.
In my bank account, in my bank account, I got money.
Still